So here we go. I knew this was coming. The minute P. Diddy decided to pay Cassie the next day and settle out, the floodgates was going to open up. So now he has over 120, so allegedly over 120 new victims coming forward. 60 of them they say is men, 60 of them they say is women. They say that P. Diddy was just doing all kinds of wild, freaky stuff going on. You got Gloria Allred on the case. You got all these different people coming forward. Now, I don't really believe all this kind of stuff, but this is what they do. We seen them do it to Michael Jackson when they called him Wacko Jacko. We see them do it to Bill Cosby. This is like the same playbook, right? Destroy your credibility in the media. And I'm not saying that Sean Puffy Combs is not guilty of things, because he's definitely, as a black man in the community over the last 30 years, we know that he's guilty of doing a lot of things. But I just don't trust the media and in the way the media handle things at times. I want to see like these charges and how you're putting together these charges, because it's the same playbook they run whenever you do something to go against them. It's the same playbook. Now, we saw what he did with Cassie, but the thing is, he's not even charged with that. They never even, when it happened, they didn't even charge him. And this is the problem. This is the issue that I have with me trusting these people, because we saw on that video the beatdown that he gave Cassidy, but they kept it quiet for years. They didn't say anything because he was making a lot of people still a lot of money. They swept it under the rug for a long time. Now you expect me to believe all of this stuff that's coming out now? No, some stuff I do believe, but a lot of this other stuff that when you say, well, we're gonna put them away for life for trafficking and all this different stuff, man, they got to prove that. They definitely have to prove that. But what I saw he do with Cassie, how we know he had bad business practices with his artists and so many different things. What his abuse of Kim Porter, I agree with that part. But these SEX rings and all this kind of stuff, I don't know. I'm on the fence when it comes to that. I don't see how a billionaire will have to persuade a woman to go and do all this. It doesn't make sense. But let's listen to what the district attorney's office and these different lawyers are saying about these new 120 alleged victims. Check this out.
As many of you know, our law firm has been at the forefront of some of the most important litigation in the United States. We like the tough cases. We thrive in the complicated cases. We've handled over the last 25 years some very big and very important cases. I believe that this one may surpass them all. There are many facets to this. The conduct we will describe today occurred over more than 20 years. There are many people and many entities involved. And we're going to follow this evidence wherever it takes us. We will find the silent accomplices. We will expose the enablers who enabled this conduct behind closed doors. We will pursue this matter no matter who the evidence implicates. These brave victims who have stepped forward deserve nothing less. The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI. Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and had screened a handful of cases. After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty. You would be shocked at the length fans will go, no matter the evidence to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love. I mean, there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics. I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo. But victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct. They should not be targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with a mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward. So if you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone. There is a great strength in numbers. You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help you. That being said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we receive. We have had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues, we check dates. We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit. We have on staff now a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each claim.
So we know that they have a list, and that list is that they say that list has many names on it, and they're going to charge a bunch of people. And I'll be very interested to see who's these people on the list and who they're going to charge, because you're not going to be able to put together a case that they're trying to put together on Diddy without having accomplices. So there's going to have to be some form of a list of people. Again, I'm using my common sense, right? I'm using my common sense. How do these athletes, entertainers, where people run to go be around these people, why would they have to use certain concoctions to get people to do these things? I don't know. Like, I just don't believe everything that they put out. Like I said, as a black person that's in my late 40s, right on the edge of 50, we already know that P-Diddy wasn't nothing. We already knew he was a piece of crap. We already knew that a lot of people were pieces of crap, like that guy out of Chicago, that singer. We know that, but the black community never handled them. The black community still supported the stuff. Now that the system is coming down on them, and they're telling you not to support them, now all of a sudden you don't want to support them. We should have our community should have been got P. Diddy up out of here. We should have been did that, because he was guilty of a lot of things that he was doing amongst his own people. That's what he was guilty of. But let's listen to the second half.
We're using our common sense. We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough. The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public. The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive. But it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. I don't want to focus on the ages of these victims. When we talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward, I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York, as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought, that it revives such claims and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later. Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. And I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward. And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward. You know, there's an old saying, it says, a lie has great speed, but truth has endurance. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they called a puppy party, the all-white party, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being made a star or in the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape or even let them read for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants medical records, reports that were made to the authorities, and I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or trank, which, based on our research, is known as a horse tranquilizer. Now, there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case.
And see, I don't need the court of public opinion because we already know that Diddy was no good. The black community never ostracized Diddy. We allowed Diddy to walk around. It's like in the black community, when the W man tells us to feel some type of way about something, then we feel some type of way. We don't take action in our community amongst ourselves. We wait till the media tells us to do it. I've been around too long. I see it. It's the same thing that happened in that Alabama brawl. Everybody was hyped. As soon as they took the media off of it, and when they actually gave him a charge and they didn't get no media coverage, the black community said nothing. We only care when the W man puts his cameras down there. That's the time that we care. So again, I'm gonna say it again. I'm looking at them trafficking charges and all these different things because I want to see the language in that and how they're setting that up. Because if we just allow them to just make up the law as they go along, then that's going to be a precedent set for anybody. So we got to be real careful. Don't let them use their cameras to appeal to your emotions to the point where you just allow them to do anything. I'll give y'all an example. Back in the day, during the drug era in the 80s, they had a charge called possession with intent to deliver. So if they caught you with something, the possession part was just a possession, but the intent to deliver was the felony. How can they give you a possession with intent to deliver charge when they don't know what your intent was? You could have been on the stuff, so you had no intent to deliver anything. You could have found it. It could have been, the language could have been in anything. But if they caught you with it, they just gave you a possession with intent to deliver and gave millions of people across America felonies. So you got to be real careful at the way that the language of certain laws is set up. So that's what I'm paying attention to. I already know that Diddy is guilty of a lot of things, but I also know the crafty counsel that's set in a lot of these houses. So I don't trust them. I know how they like to manipulate things in order to enforce certain laws amongst the people. So y'all got to pay attention. Don't follow this with your emotions. Look beyond that. So it's easy, because it's the same playbook. It's easy to accuse a person of all these different things where he can't get out from under that. But then you got to look at how they sending them to jail. Why is the Mann Act there? Why is Homeland Security in that place? Why? When that's really Fed's jurisdiction. So all that stuff matters. Don't just go because you're disdain for Diddy. Look at the way, you can have a disdain for Diddy, my people. But look at the way that law enforcement and the media is handling this. Do not let them off the hook. All right? Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time, peace.